What's going on, Whiskey Chaser fam? Welcome back to another video. As you can tell, we are not on the Sportster today. This is going to be my brand new to me, not brand new, but brand new to me, 2014 Yamaha Bolt. I got this thing up in Rome, New York. Took a trip up there to grab it. Thanks to Erica, who really helped out. She had a trailer that we were able to bring it out. It was about a 12-hour round trip process, but we made it. It's good. So what I'm going to do right now is I will kick it back to the initial process of us going up to get it, the road trip, just a little video. First impression, taking it off of the trailer and riding into the city, and then I'll switch back here, talk about the bike a little bit, talk about the future plans of this thing, and then yeah, we'll go from there. All right, roll that theme song.
Because these horsemen ride with the fist outside, with heads like thunder, the rock of your pride, will have no mercy for big, far and wide.
What's going on, Whiskey Chaser fam? Headed out today. Erica's on her way to pick us up because we're headed to Rome. Not Rome, Italy. Rome, New York. So you got stuff packed up, ready to go. Gonna be checking something out today. It's gonna be fun. Stay tuned for that one.
Hello.
What's up? What's up?
How you doing?
What's up? What's up? You ready for a road trip?
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. Hey.
Hi.
How you doing back there?
I'm great. I just saw someone get whacked. The internet is a magical thing.
How's the drive?
Fun.
Yeah. First stop down.
Ready?
Made it like an hour and a half. Turn into your bike? Okay, we got the bike. Are you? Oh, that was a bump.
It's a little seedy.
It's a little seedy.
Hello.
This is the maiden voyage of the trailer that we're hauling the bike back to the city with, so
A little anxiety.
Yeah.
A little bit.
we're all a little worried, but I think we'll be safe. We'll stop and check it out. Bike looks great, sounds great. Huge shout out to Anthony. He held the bike for me. He held it. Other people were making offers, and he said, no, Chase is getting this bike. It's gonna be a Whiskey Chaser bike.
Whiskey Chaser!
Whiskey Chaser! So we'll see what happens.
I wish us luck.
All right, so we got the 2014 Yamaha Bolt here. Couldn't wait to ride it, even though it's 40-something degrees outside. Just had to get it off the ride, give it a shot. So we're gonna ride it into town and see how she feels, man. Ooh, I gotta adjust that clutch. It is light, way too light. How are we gonna do that, Roo? give it a little crunch that in a little bit. I don't know how Anthony rides. Chase rides with a hard clutch. All right, I think that's probably good. Ooh, that exhaust gets hot. All right, here we go. So it's definitely very similar to the Bolt that we rode a couple of weeks ago. Ooh, get my mirrors adjusted here. Plenty of power, plenty of torque. This 60 feels amazing. This thing just has power for days. It is only just a 950, just a little bit higher than the 883, but it's nice, man. I mean, that was a little 5th gear pull, and it was all day, all day. I think we done good, boys. I think we done good. It's lightweight, easy to move around. It is very comfortable. I could definitely see myself riding this thing for a long period of time. Man, this bike is sick. It's tuned good, it sounds good, it feels good. It's a really nice, low weight, flickable bike. I like it a lot. We're gonna have to think of a name for this. I'm not really big on names for bikes or cars or anything like that. My Mustang, the Bullet, does not have a name, much to the chagrin of some other people who say it should. The Sportster doesn't have a name either. If you guys have a name for the Sportster, you know, like, let me know what you think, and yeah. Hi. Does feel like it has a little bit of it leans to the left a little more than it leans to the right. I'm not sure what that's about, but maybe something might be off with the suspension. I'll have to check it when I get home. Also, this low end, you really got to get those RPMs up. Seems like it doesn't really like those low RPMs a lot, but it's okay. This is fuel injected. It does have a little bit easier time, especially in this cooler weather that we got going on here. Yeah, just decided, you know, why not? Had about 13 miles to get home. Jump on it, do a little first impression, see how we feel. And I'll tell you what, man, this feels good. This feels like a solid bike. I'm happy that we got it. I'm glad we're gonna be able to do some stuff with it, make it into a solid little daily driver. It's a lot of fun. Alright everybody, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that. I know it was a little weird kind of seeing just a few snippets of the journey to get this thing, but I figured that it wasn't really super interesting anyway. It's just a lot of driving. We had a lot of fun, and it was very nerve-wracking putting this thing up on the back of that trailer because it had never been used before. Everything worked out amazing though. And once again, huge shout out to Erica. Erica was in the last video. She had her bike stolen right out in front of her apartment. I put a Venmo down in the description for her if you wanted to give her any digital tips. She is a bartender. She just got back to work the first time in 3 months last Friday, so it's been really difficult for her, especially with her motorcycle getting stolen, and she's trying to buy a new one. She wants to go on the Babes Ride Out ride with Parker. That's going to be out in June, and she obviously won't be able to do that unless she has a motorcycle, so she's out there trying to find one. Anything you can do to donate to the cause, really appreciate it. Those of you who have donated already, you guys are amazing. This is not the biggest family on YouTube. There's only, you know, a couple hundred subs, but you know, just the fact that anybody decided to go in and make a donation to her, you guys are just incredible. Thank you so much. She really appreciates that. She really sends out all of her love to you. All right, back to the Bolt. So 2014 Yamaha Bolt. This is not an R spec, it's not a C spec. This is just a regular standard Bolt, but it was built out by a company called D&D Racing up in I can't remember the name of it. It's up in northern New York, around Utica, upstate. They did a custom intake system. It's actually really cool. We'll get off the bike here in a little bit and I'll show you all of the stuff that they've done to it. They have the Big Barker slip-on exhaust, power commander unit on there, tuned up, so it sounds really nice. It runs really nice. This thing's got massive torque all day long, which is crazy. If you recall in the last couple of videos, I rode Chris's Yamaha Bolt, his green one, and that thing was loud. This is not as loud as his, but it is still very loud. It's got a really good deep growl. As you can tell, you can really hear the air sucking through that intake, which is awesome. It sounds amazing. It just got a good growl. It does not pop as much as his, thank God, because that thing popped every time you decelerated. This does pop a little bit. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it. It's got a couple little pops, but it's not really too bad. So other than that, it is pretty much stock. It is pretty much a base model. There is no rear seat. There are no rear pegs. There's basically no storage on this bike whatsoever. It has the factory handlebars. It has the factory mid controls. It has everything else pretty much factory. The guy, Anthony, who I bought this from, he babied this motorcycle. He only put about 5,000 miles on it. Bought it in 2017, I believe he said. Sold it to me in 2021. The first third of 2021, he had his buddy there who was making sure it got on the back of the truck. Poor guy. He was like, yeah, I was going to give him about 10 more minutes, and then if not, I'm going to take this thing around the corner and hide it. He really didn't want to sell it, but, you know, he knew that I was the right guy to sell it to. He held it for me. We talked about it for a little while, and he said he felt really good about me running on this bike. And, you know, he added me on Facebook. He followed the channel. So hopefully he'll be able to at least live vicariously through us on this channel on the Bolt here. And he won't miss it too much. It'll still be a really cool, really fun bike for him. Now, I have done a couple of things since I got it, just real basic. Adjusted the clutch lever. It was really, really light, and I couldn't handle that, so I had to adjust it up. I did adjust the mirrors a little bit because they were kind of a little wonky. The lock nuts were kind of in a weird place, and you couldn't really adjust them too much. So I haven't really done a whole lot, just some real basic, simple stuff. But of course, I haven't even had this thing for 24 hours, so what the heck am I gonna do? Now, the ride height on this thing is super low, way lower than the Sportster. It is very low. I am flat-footing this thing with bent knees. I'm about 5 foot, 8.5, 5'9", depending on what kind of shoes I'm wearing. I do normally wear these cowboy boots, these boots right here. So they do give me just a little bit of a boost in height, but still, even if I was wearing flat-footed sneakers, this thing is low. I might have to bump up the suspension just a little bit, hit that preload up a couple of spots, just to try to kind of get up off the ground. These mid controls too, they don't really do a lot for me. Now, they're granted, they do give me a lot of control. It just isn't for me. I want these things just to sit up a little bit further. I've already talked to a guy who's gonna send a set out from, man, I think Denmark or something like that, I'm not sure, but that would be probably one of the first upgrades. I do also want to upgrade these handlebars, get them sitting up a little bit higher, a little bit further back, just to get a little bit more of a comfortable riding position. The riding position I'm in right now is very sporty. You're leaned over a little bit, you got your knees up here closer to your body. It gives you a lot of control, but that's not the kind of style that I'm going for. I'm looking for an everyday riding cruiser. Now, that being said, this is a very, very comfortable bike. I heard a lot about how this seat is not a good seat. I heard how it's really uncomfortable long rides and all that kind of stuff, but I can tell you right now, I would not mind riding in this seat. I think that maybe because the Sportster has like an aftermarket seat, it's kind of a no-name knockoff brand. Yeah, it looks really cool with that gator skin print that it has on it, but it still is not super, super comfortable. And though I can ride that for about 3 hours or so, while, you know, taking maybe 1 or 2 breaks in between, it does really, really get your butt all hurt. Butt hurt. But this thing is comfortable, man, and you know what? It's got so much power. Let's get a little forced gear pull going on here. Easy, easy, dude. This thing fucking flies. Now, it is only a 950, 942 cc's to be exact, but man, this thing is cool. I think that, you know, just a little bit more power from the intake and exhaust kind of helps a lot, as well as that power commander. But I'll tell you what, I am loving this bike. We are going to have to do something with the suspension, though, because even though it is okay, it is not great, and I want something a little bit better. What's nice about it is we don't really have to do a whole lot to it. I do want to put a little bit of storage on it, put a sissy bar, maybe a bag or two, just so I can use that Viking bag, sissy bar backpack that I got, which is amazing. If you haven't seen that review, definitely go down and look at that review. It is an awesome, awesome backpack, and it would be great for this bike. Man, this thing is great. It just eats these corners up. I'm so not used to this being on the Sportster. The Sportster does have some torque. It is pretty fast, but the position of it doesn't allow me to take these turns like that. And while we might do that with this bike as well, I still think that it's going to retain a lot of that raciness, a lot of that sportiness. Fucking wave at me, bro. I waved at you, you wave at me. I'm gonna get in trouble. This thing goes so much faster. Now, why did I buy this bike? I already have a bike. It's a perfectly good bike. It runs. It has no problems. Sure, it is Frankenstein together a little bit, but you know, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. So why did I go out and buy another bike? Well, the Sportster needs some work. It has a little bit of rust on it, needs some new wheels. Not necessarily needs some new wheels, but I don't like those wheels very much, so I do want to change them. I want to get rid of a bunch of the chrome that's on it. I'm not a big fan of the chrome. It has basically no engine mods. It is stock intake, stock exhaust, everything like that. And I want to start adding some of that stuff to it. I also want to start chopping it up a little bit. Not crazy, but you know, a little bit. Maybe cut the fender a little bit. I'm not gonna like put a full hardtail on it or anything, especially while we're here and I'm parked out on the street, but I'll do a little something to it. And also, it, you know, needs some maintenance. It needs some brakes. It needs some spark plugs. Not that I couldn't do all that stuff in a day or two, but I really just, I don't want to have to worry about it too much, where if I start to do something and I don't finish it, that I'm fucked. And that's kind of where this bike comes in, because I want this to be more of a daily driver. This will be on the channel a lot more. Don't worry, I'm still gonna ride the Sportster, but this will be more of just like, you know, a longer distance trip type thing. I'm not worried so much about this breaking down. I'm not worried so much about a part that is from 2005 that has never been replaced. I'm not worried about, you know, a jet on the carburetor getting clogged. I'm just not worried about a lot of that stuff. And that just kind of like gives me a little bit more of it, gives me more peace of mind of riding and going around and being able to do stuff. And yeah, I mean, that's basically it. That's why I did it. And I'll tell you what, I'm glad I did, because this is a great bike. It's a really, really fun bike. It has a couple of little mods that I probably would have done myself, but now I don't really have to. And they were kind of included with the package, which is amazing. I believe that the place fixed the death wobble too, because I haven't experienced any sort of wobble or anything. And I mean, I'm going, you know, 50, 60 miles an hour. I haven't really experienced anything. I think the motorsport company, the racing company that had this before, that kind of was, this was kind of their experiment bike. They wanted to make it like just a cool show bike, something that they could experiment on, make the intake for, and then they could sell that intake, and you know, just stuff like that. Ooh. I have sunglasses on and I cannot see any potholes. And I'm still not used to this turning, this suspension. It's so much different because my center of gravity is so different than it is on the Sportster. The Sportster, I'm a little bit further back, my hands are up higher, so I'm a little bit more on the rear tire. I can feel it a little bit better when I go through those turns. Can't go through them as fast, that's for sure, but it still doesn't feel as weird as this. This feels very strange, but that's okay. We made it. We made it, boys! What are your thoughts, guys? What do you think about the 2014 Bolt? I know a couple of videos ago... Ooh, that's a red light. Oh, well, good to know the brakes work. A couple of videos ago, I was talking about different types of bikes that I wanted to get because of all the things that I had mentioned just a few minutes ago with the Sportster. And this was one of the three bikes that I kind of really decided on. It was this, it was the Triumph Bobber, or it was going to be a 2020/2021 Street Bob. I really like those Street Bobs. I really do. I still want to go ride one. I still want to see what they're all about, and you know, maybe one day we'll be able to get our hands on one, but for right now I think it was just a little too far out of the budget, a little too far out of the range. Plus I wanted to get something a little bit different. I like import bikes a lot. Like I said in that video, the Whiskey Chaser channel, though I drove a Harley Davidson, is not a Harley Davidson channel. It's not all about Harleys, never will all be about Harleys. It's about motorcycles and motorcycle related content. It is a lot of fun. We like to have fun here. Plus, I looked around on the YouTubes and the interwebs. There's really not a whole lot about these bikes. Like, there's a decent amount, it's an okay amount, but it's not, there's not a ton. And it seems really strange to me because these bikes have been out since 2014, I believe this was the first year, and they're still out today. You can buy a 2021 Yamaha Bolt, C-Spec, R-Spec, whatever, and they're cheap, they're cool, they're fun, they look good. They're Yamahas, and Yamaha has a long-standing reputation of building great engines and transmissions and stuff like that. So you know that it's, oh man, it's windy out here. You know that it is going to be a long-standing bike. I found some of these bikes for sale used with 25,000 miles on them, and people were still trying to sell them for the same price as you would buy something with like this, 7,500 miles, just because they know that the mileage doesn't really matter too much on a bike like this. It's still just a solid bike. Yeah, so there you go. We got ourselves a Yamaha Bolt, boys and girls. It's gonna be a fun time. Let me know down in the comments what you think we should do to this bike, how you think we should mod it. If you have a Yamaha Bolt, let me know what you've done, because I'm really curious to see. Like I said, I did find a couple of things, but there's really not a whole lot of people who mod these bikes. Now, Bo from Chase on Two Wheels, he has a 2015 Yamaha Bolt R-Spec, and he's done a pretty good amount of mods to his bike, which is really, really great, because he kind of has a couple of how-tos of what he did, and that is awesome. It's an amazing reference to be able to go and look at. But most of the time, the people who modify these bikes, what they do is they do intake and exhaust, and that's already done here. I don't have to worry about intake or exhaust. So finding some other stuff, you know, it's not the easiest, but we'll be able to do it. Also, a lot of places don't really sell a whole lot of parts for these. There is like S&S Customs. I know they sell a couple of things, quite a few, you know, little things, whatever, but they seem to like take custom orders and then S&S Customs, they take custom orders, duh. Yeah, they take custom orders, and then once they're kind of out, they're like, it's really hard to get their stuff. Like, I wanted to get their forward control kit. They took pre-orders for February 2021, and then that was it. They were done. I have no idea when their forward control kit is going to become available again. So I'm probably going to have to go to this guy overseas and get him to send me one, which I don't think is going to be too big of a problem, because from what I've seen, they're still really good. They're really solid, you know, setup type kits, and I wouldn't be unhappy with something like that. So it is a really, really fun bike. I'm super, super excited about this. One of the biggest problems is it's just itching. It's wanting to go so bad, and we're in the city where it can't. This thing's gonna be a blast, man.
All right, guys, just wanted to stop and show off the bike here a little bit. I know I did that a little bit earlier too, but it seemed like a good spot to stop and especially show off this K&N intake right here. This is the custom D&D Racing K&N intake. The Big Barker exhaust. As you can see, everything else is pretty much stock, but here's a cool looking bike. It's a lot of fun to ride. Get some pictures for the gram. If you want to see those pictures, head on over to Whiskey Chaser _ on Instagram. That's where you'll find them.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Whiskey Chaser channel. My name is Chase. We do motorcycle related content here in New York City. If you like this kind of stuff, please leave a like and a comment down below. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing. If you are returning, thank you so much. I love you. All right, everybody. See you later. Peace out.
I decided to take a maiden voyage out on Chase's new Yamaha Bolt. I am so fucking scared. They're so...
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god, I'm so excited! Ah! This is so cool!